Second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about...
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
English, mother...
Body, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
Let's put a smile on that face.
What's up, film family? Welcome back to the Film Room Podcast. I'm Scott.
My name's Dion.
And today we're doing Ridley Scott's 2000, I was going to say Roman classic, epic. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had some cool idea in my head for what I was going to call this. But anyway, we're doing Gladiator.
Yeah.
Because the sequel's coming in just days. It's just days away.
I'm excited. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm excited.
I know. I'm not excited too, man. It's kind of crazy because, like I said, 2000. This movie came out 24 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And now we're getting the sequel.
Yeah, I know. It's so random too, because not necessarily. I'm not mad that's got a sequel, but it's not necessarily something that needed a sequel.
That's true.
Yeah,
you're
so
right.
it's like
I mean,
it's like yeah.
Well, I was gonna say it's one of those things. It's like kind of you could see it as a cash grab, like a super popular movie.
Yeah.
That happened 20 years ago, has a big fan base. But I mean, if it's cash grab now, why didn't they do it before? Maybe we're running out of movie ideas, or I don't know. I actually don't know how this
true.
got. I didn't look into the sequel much. I should have.
Well, I think it's because Ridley is notoriously is not a guy that wanted to do sequels. Like with Alien, he didn't want to do a sequel. With what was the other one? With Blade Runner, he didn't want to do a sequel. So when he did this, he probably was like, I don't want to do a sequel. And they're probably like, can we do this again without him? And it worked with Alien, but it didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
And this doesn't really work out to have a sequel. Like the end of the movie, like Maximus dies, Commodus is dead. And I mean, I'm assuming the sequel is set a couple years maybe later. I don't actually even know. Do you know? Have you seen the trailer for it? Because I know you're
I
not a trailer
have. I saw a teaser trailer, so it's like mostly
Okay.
just like seeing action shots, and you show like Denzel smiling, like those kind of things.
Yeah.
I think they've been pretty good with the trailers in the sense of like they don't really like give too much. It's just they're basically going off the back of like, hey, remember how good Gladiator was? This is the second one, so I know you're gonna come, which people are. They're just that basically.
Definitely, yeah. We said we're excited for it. This was my first time watching it.
It was my first time too.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, you had said, remember how good Gladiator is? So you liked it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. We'll get into it now. I liked it, but there's like a caveat on it for me too, because just it doesn't ruin the movie per se. That I knew a little bit of the things like people telling me about the movie. Like I knew that Maximus died, so like going into the movie knowing that it doesn't ruin the movie for you, but like that's in the back of your head. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of knowing where it's leading. So that made it a little tough for me. Like in the sense of like, oh, I probably would have liked this more if I didn't know that. You know what I mean? Just like completely not knowing what happened. And just the I think a little bit of it is also the movie was crazy overhyped for me. So even though I did like it, there was a little bit of me that was still like, oh man, this movie got so hyped for me. Like maybe I thought there was gonna be like another battle scene or something, or like something else.
Yeah.
Not saying I didn't like it, but I think it was just one of those things where it's like, and I have a perfect example for it. It's in the sense of like, I want to use The Dark Knight, for example. If anyone hasn't had the scene in The Dark Knight, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to say like the opening scene, for example. Like when you first see that opening scene, it's like a cool opening scene. But if someone kind of tells you what happened in what that opening scene is, it's not like as exciting in the sense. Okay. Or even the fact that like you get the whole jail scene with the Joker and what happens with that. That's all I'll say about it. Like you remember what happened to the jail scene. So if you knew about that, like because to me those two scenes I'm talking about were like, oh snap, like I didn't expect that to happen, and like, oh snap, that's a cool like thing that happened. So like when you know those things going into a movie, it takes a little bit of the shine off of it. Doesn't ruin it. Like if you knew those things, you could still walk through The Dark Knight and be like, this is a really great movie. But that was just like a little bit that pulled a little bit of the shine off the movie, which is why I'm even more excited for Gladiator 2, because I'm not going to have any of that. I'm just going to go into it and just fresh slate.
Yeah. You'll have nobody told you anything about it, no spoilers or anything. It's basically what you're saying is spoilers. Like this is the reason why nobody likes spoilers, right?
No,
because it takes a little bit like a reveal or a surprise or something like that. It's like the movies are made for the first viewing. Right.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
like these exciting things that if they're spoiled for you, yeah, it just takes a little bit off of it, because when a movie's leading you some way and then there's a twist or something, right? You're like, oh, I thought it was doing this and then this jumped out. But if you know that, then the whole time you're watching, you're like, oh, it's gonna change, or like this
Yeah.
guy's gonna pop up, or this guy's gonna die. You know what I mean? So
Exactly. So,
yeah.
and again, that doesn't ruin it for me, but I just, especially if it's an overall good movie, then you
Mhm.
could, there's still so many other aspects of the movie you can enjoy, but just that thing alone. And this goes to what we were talking about last time when I said people, because the situation was a person that told me the spoiler of it, and they're like, that movie came out like 20 years ago. I'm like, so like
I mean,
I haven't seen it. Like I
yeah,
don't know. Like ask me first. Wait, have you seen Gladiator? Before just
right.
going like, oh yeah, Gladiator was so good. Like it's Maximus died. I'm like, yo, I haven't seen it. And he's like, oh, and then he was like, oh, but it's been out for so long. I'm like, give me some like grace
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Ask me if I've seen it. Ask me before I've seen it, before
You're
you get all
right.
hype about it.
Before you give a big spoiler, no matter what, you gotta ask someone if they've seen it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like the main character dying, that's the biggest spoiler there probably is in a movie.
that's, that's all I'm asking, guys. I'm sorry if that's too much.
But what I will, but what I will say is that in this movie, like even like right from the jump, right, we see him walking through that field, like a flash
Yeah.
forward or a flashback kind of thing. I mean, we don't know exactly what it is, but like the whole concept of death
Yeah.
and him dying is kind of foreshadowed throughout. So to me, it wasn't a big surprise. I mean, I also knew, but it's a 20-year-old movie, so you know,
Yeah.
like it's kind of impossible to dodge spoilers for 20
Yeah.
years.
100%.
So wait, are you saying that you didn't know until this guy told you? How recent was that?
Yeah. I'd say within this year.
Oh
Because
wow.
like the news of the
Oh,
yeah.
the sequel.
That thing, that's why it makes it more I'm more angry too. I'm like, bro, I went all this
I made
time
it this far
without knowing. Oh man. The same thing happened with Unusual Suspects for me too. Shout out Katia. She ruined the, and I've been putting off watching the movie. You know that movie, Unusual
Yeah,
Suspects?
yeah, yeah,
I've been
yeah.
wanting to watch that movie for a bit, but I know a spoiler. I'm not gonna say it to you.
Right.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. So
Okay, let's move off of it. Well, what did you think of the movie? I've said enough. What did you think
yeah, yeah.
about
No,
Gladiator?
I liked it a lot, dude. I thought the action was incredible, and like this is
Yeah.
what this movie is about. Like it's called Gladiator. I
Mhm.
want gladiator fights, and I got a ton of them,
Yeah.
and they were sick. And yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought like we were talking about the death, the whole foreshadowing, that whole side of the story, that theme. I liked it a lot too. I thought that was really cool. The performances were good. The physical acting was great. It's this the story I thought was a little predictable, maybe. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't a 10 out of 10. I'm saying that. I don't think it was a
Yeah,
10 out
yeah,
of
no,
10.
for
So that's
sure.
maybe where I thought it lacked a bit. I also think
Mhm.
Commodus's character was kind of weak. Like
Mhm.
I think in general he was a punk. Like
Yeah.
he was a punk throughout the whole movie, which is fine,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
like there was no depth to that. Like every time he showed up on screen, he was just being a bitch. And it's
Yeah.
like we saw him a little bit when he talks to his dad, right before he kills him, and then he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, what did I do to make you hate me so much?" And like
Yeah.
that I thought was actually was really well done, and like that grabbed me, and I
Mhm.
thought that gave some emotion to his character. But other than that, every time we see him, he's just doing stupid things, or Maximus is just like beating him in no matter what they're doing. And I was like,
Yeah.
every time he's on screen, I was like, yeah, this guy's just a punk.
Yeah. It's funny too. When I watched this movie, I was like, besides the moments of in Joker when he is the Joker and he's kind of
Mm.
like up and he's kind of like that guy. Joaquin always plays a bitch, man. And
Yeah.
I realized when I was watching this, I started realizing my mind started going back in all the movies I've watched. In the movie called To Die For, he plays like a teenager and he's like a simp. We kind of see how he is in the Joker. We see how he is in this. There's a movie called Her, and he's a simp in that. And I'm like, damn, does he have a backbone in any in any movies? I need to see him be a boss in something. I need to go. I just need to see. I want to see if he's capable of doing it.
I guess he just gets cast type, because he's been
Yeah.
acting from a young age. So I guess they saw him when he was young. I guess because he was, I don't know, even know how old he was in this. It came out in 2000, and
Yeah.
he's
So,
maybe like 50. So he was maybe early 20s,
mhm.
maybe even in his teens. But and so they see him be a punk, and he was good in the role. Like I said, I
Yeah.
don't think his character was great, but he was good in the
Oh
role.
yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
they're like, oh, just we need a guy to be a punk. Get this guy. He
Yeah.
did it in Gladiator. Maybe he could be a good bitch in our movie too.
No, that's true. And the thing is, like, he's great. Like the fact that they gave him such a big role too is just like, okay, I know we can trust this guy. It's like at this point, it's like you're in a Ridley Scott film. Like this is the guy that made Blade Runner, this is the guy that made Alien. It's like, okay, I don't know this guy. If you're getting that like such a main role in that, like they have faith in you.
Yeah. No, and like I said, he did well, especially that
Yeah.
scene, like I said, with his dad. I thought he was great in that.
Oh, for sure.
This movie won 5 Oscars.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It won Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Visual Effects, Best Sound, and Best Costume Design. Kind of clean up at the Oscars. That was normally we don't really point that out necessarily, but when I was doing my research, I saw it and I was like 5. Wow, I feel like it's worth mentioning.
Oh yeah, no, you have to because that not every movie does that. Like, I think what did Parasite do that? The most recent movie to do something, or at least a lot.
Got
At
a
least
lot. I don't
of them.
know exactly how many, but it got a lot.
Like
I don't think it
everything
got Best
everywhere.
Actor. Like
Nah, yeah, probably not.
Like Russell Crowe got Best Actor for this one. Did you think his performance was deserving of Best Actor?
You know what? Have you ever seen A Beautiful Mind? That movie came out like a year later.
Okay, yeah,
and I thought he was better in that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I like this movie. So anyone listening, because I know it's a lot of people's favorite movie.
Yeah.
so like I'm just giving my honest opinion, but
Yeah.
I feel like he was better in A Beautiful Mind. I still think he was good in this, but I think it goes to what you said earlier, where it's like there wasn't like this, like the story was like very like it wasn't like this crazy twist or anything like that. It's very like straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
I think everything around the movie and like the things that you mentioned, like the costumes and the fights, everything was just so like this is badass, this is cool kind of thing. But it wasn't like one of these things where it's just like, oh wait, that person is actually on this side, and like, oh, like there wasn't like these crazy twists or anything, or it wasn't like this thing that like, oh damn, I didn't see that coming. Like it wasn't that kind of movie. Even with me knowing the spoilers, there wasn't anything else really.
No, because it's a heroic movie. Like Maximus, our hero, he's a god in every way. Like he's a great fighter, he's a great tactician, he's loyal, he's a family guy. Like this guy has it all, and he never loses at anything. And then there's Commodus, like we said, who is trash at everything, and they never stray from that, right? There's never like Commodus then has the upper hand at some point, so Maximus has to fight, but it's always Maximus winning all the battles. Yeah. And Commodus just has power because of his name. So like, yeah, the story is pretty, like you said, it's a straight line. It moves forward, which is not necessarily bad. Like I don't think it's a bad story. It's just like it's not great. It's not like exceptional, but I still like the movie a lot too. 100%. I liked it a lot. I'm not saying, but I think his like the reason he got Best Actor is because he had a lot of moments. Like he had some monologues, like when he reveals himself in the Colosseum, right? And he has that iconic speech. And when his wife and son, he finds their bodies and he's crying and breaking down all that. Like there's some moments where he definitely shows out.
Oh, 100%. And I think as you were talking, you made me realize too, it like this movie, and again, there's a reason some of these movies have, like you mentioned them, like you got like your John Wicks or like your Ip Man or like your trying to think who else is there, but like those kind of guys, like those where it's like these one-man army kind of movies. And those movies stand out more so because like there's somewhat of a story where it's like, okay, we kind of get this guy's goals, and we kind of see him just be a freaking badass. Like nobody can defeat this guy. He can do whatever. This probably has more of a story than those other ones, like John Wick and Ip Man, but like it's that same kind of vibe. It's like they kind of took that one-man army concept, but put it in Rome times, which I guess of recent times no one saw before. So it was just so unique. It was like, oh snap, seeing this one-man army kind of guy who's literally seems like he could take on, like, I will get, as we'll go through the movie, we just talk about all the moments, but like even like the scene when he's like about to get killed, and it's like, you guys couldn't do this.
He's not dying.
Yeah, exactly. And as you guys couldn't get this right, this man is he's chained up. It's at that moment, you know, oh, this guy is not doing, no one's messing with this guy.
No, exactly. He's him. Like he just is him. I mean, that's why Caesar, Marcus Aurelius, he wants him to be emperor, because he's like, my son's a bitch.
Oh yeah,
you are a fucking problem. Yeah, you're taking my seat. I'm not giving it to my son. You're him. Like, what other decision was there to be made?
No, it's true. There really wasn't. He's just
so
him.
Before we get into the movie, I wanted to give a quick shout out. We just reached 100 subscribers on YouTube.
Hey,
let's go.
Let's get it.
So, hey, if you're listening on YouTube, or if you are not listening on YouTube but you're subscribed, thank you. We appreciate it very much. If you're just listening, thank you for listening. We appreciate it. It's cool, a little milestone, and we're excited about it.
No, much appreciated. And I think you mean watching on YouTube. You're saying listening on YouTube.
Oh yeah, true.
I assume they're
Well,
watching.
Yeah.
I mean, they
I don't
could
know,
be.
maybe some
but
people like
if-
throw it on the TV or something, and then they're cleaning the house.
Yeah, that's
or
true.
They're doing dishes.
no, that's
or
a good
something.
point.
You
I
never
think
know.
my dad does that. Shout out my dad. I think
Oh, there
if
you
he's,
go.
I don't know if he's seen Gladiator. I know he does that. He'll
Oh,
throw it
there
on
you
the
go.
back.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Shout out to your dad.
him. Yeah.
And so one more thing that I want to do before we get into the movie, I wanted to do this game, I guess. I don't know. I thought
Okay.
of this the other day or a couple weeks ago. So I was like, okay, let me wait till we get on the podcast. And
Yeah.
basically what I want to do is I'm going to give you 10 actors
Okay.
and you're going to tell me what role or movie you immediately associate them with. Like the first one that comes to mind for that.
Oh, okay.
actor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's sick. Yeah. I had no idea where
No,
you're
no,
going with
I,
this. A little
yeah, I
behind.
did. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say a little behind the scenes for people. He told me he was gonna do this, but I had no idea what it was gonna be. So like, it's a complete surprise to me. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I was like,
Let's
I
get
wanted
it.
to do this game. I had this idea, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. So here's what it is.
Yeah,
Because I didn't want you to
perfect.
come
I
in
like
and
it.
be like,
No
okay,
spoilers.
what are big actors? What am I thinking?
Yeah,
I want
exactly.
this to be
yeah,
genuine,
yeah. Right off the dome. I'm ready.
off the
Let's
dome.
go.
You ready?
Right off the yeah.
All right. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Ooh. Inception.
Okay. Cobb.
Yeah.
Cobb, the role of Cobb.
Yeah.
Matt Damon.
Goodwill Hunting.
Okay. Okay. Denzel.
Equalizer.
Okay. Margot Robbie.
Barbie.
Viola Davis.
The Help.
Will Smith.
Men in Black.
Okay. Anne Hathaway.
Dark Knight Rises.
Okay. Catwoman. Nice.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro.
Ooh. Robert De Niro. Heat.
Good one. Amy Adams.
Arrival.
And finally, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Ooh. Well, Prisoners.
Prisoners. Okay, that's a solid. That
No,
was
it
solid.
good.
I like that.
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily the movies I think they're the best in. It's just like
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It's just the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah, because I had the idea and I can't. I was trying to think. I was like, who came into my mind? I think it was Matt Damon. I was like, what do I feel like I associate Matt Damon with? Because he's been in so many
Yeah, he's
movies
been in a lot
and
of things.
and he's led a bunch of movies too. Like he's done
Yeah.
a bunch of big characters in different movies. So, I mean, yeah, I just had the idea. I was like, well, and then I was like, oh, that'd be a cool thing to do on the podcast. And you've
I
seen
like
a ton
it.
of movies, so
Yeah, no, I like that. That was good. Part of me, there was like two people when I said their names, I was like, I think it was when you brought up Denzel. I was like, oh man, so many movies. But
Yeah,
for whatever,
him too.
Equalizer came up because that's the movie when I was saying Ip Man and John Wick.
John Wick.
Equalizer was another one of those
Right.
one man army. So that was already in my head. But
True.
because like, and then also Matt Damon. I was gonna say Bourne, but I have Goodwill Hunting in my head based
Yeah.
off our most of us texting.
Yeah. No, I
So
feel
it's
you.
just like it's just what pops to my head.
Yeah, so because basically when I made this list, I was trying not to get actors that we would, because like I didn't want to give you like Christian Bale, because you just said Batman.
Yeah,
Like obvious, like someone that's played a massive character that's like so obvious, or RDJ, like you just say Iron Man, like it's
Iron Man.
obvious.
Yeah, no,
So
it's true.
that's why I kind of went with that list. But good.
No.
Who did you say for Leo?
Is
Inception.
it Inception?
Yeah, you said Inception. Okay,
That was
I thought-
tough.
He's tough. De Niro was tough too. Like,
Yeah.
he's been in a ton of shit. But all right, that was cool.
Yeah, it's funny because like in those moments, it's like two movies pop in my head for him. I was gonna say Shutter Island, but then I was like, oh no, Inception, and then I was like, same thing with Margot Robbie. I almost said Once Upon a Time in Hollywood twice, but I think the reason I didn't say that is just because it's too long to say.
Yeah,
I was about to say Once Upon a Time, and I was like Barbie,
yeah.
Inception.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
want to
fair
say the
enough.
long ass title.
That's a good point. Will Smith too. It was a lot of them, but
Yeah, I was gonna say
anyways,
iRobot just because.
just because true, we did,
Yeah.
or that was one of our like practice episodes. True. No, though that'll never see the light of day. Don't worry,
Never.
everybody.
Yeah.
So shall we get in the movie? Did you have anything else?
Yeah. No, let's get into it.
All right. So we start with the battle in Germania. We get
Yeah.
Maximus rallying the troops. he sets up the flank in this whole battle. This was a great way to start off the movie. I was hooked right away.
Oh yeah, no, it was intense. Like it's one of those times when you watch a movie like this and you can tell that this is real. It's like, especially when you watch like an older movie, it's just like, and specific directors too, like we're gonna do everything practical. There is some green screens, blue screens in this movie, but like this scene was just crazy. The fire, the horses, just the battle. Like I wonder, actually didn't look it up. I don't know how long it took them to shoot this. But it must have took them a while because there's so many moving parts.
Yeah. No, that because there's a big ass army too that they set up. I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
Some of that would have been green screen and stuff that they added. I mean, also because
No, I don't think there is a green screen.
No, you're right. Not for the army, but
Yeah.
like because it came out in 2000, right? The CGI is not the best. So like some of the like the drone shots of the Colosseum, like that you can you can tell it's not the best.
No,
but
sure.
I mean, you're not mad because it's 2000. But yeah, this scene was great, dude. And you know what's crazy? You mentioned the fire. I read that they found a forest. I can't remember exactly where it was, but that was basically commissioned to be cleaned out because they were building there. So that's how they got permission to basically burn it down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, I just imagine Ridley be like, wait, you guys are going to burn this down? Wait, like, hold on for a second. Let me talk to the studio.
Yeah, let me put some cameras here first, and let me get Russell Crowe in here. We'll do some work first. But bro, the first note I had is these Germans did not stand a chance, bro. I'd be like this is the whole point. Like they're showing how strong the Roman Empire is.
Yeah.
And there's even that little like title sequence where it says it stretches from like the north of Africa all the way to the top of Britain, and like a quarter of the world's population was under Caesar's control. Like Jesus Christ, that's insane.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Yeah,
but like you see how strong the army is. They didn't stand a chance, dude. They have all the fire, they have the flank set up, and these are just some Vikings, I guess, that have axes and stuff. They get smoked.
Oh my god, yeah, it looked ridiculous.
Yeah,
it looked. It was one of those things where it was like these guys came out of the woods. I'm like, what are they even doing?
Yeah, I know. These guys have horses. They have like these planned battalions all over the place. They got the spikes set up, and they're all set up. And these guys just come in with like axes and some bow and arrows. No chance.
Yeah, you're bringing sticks to a gunfight, basically.
Literally, yeah, facts. That's literally what's happening.
I thought it was cool. Like sorry, go.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, we see right away how Maximus is bawling out, and we see too, like when he's rallying the troops, like he's coming, he's dapping people up. They're all like, yeah, we got this, Maximus. Like they're all like, we could tell that he's one of the guys. Like they really fuck with him, you know.
And I thought it was really cool too, like how they were like dipping their bow and arrows in the fire and then shooting it up. I was like, damn, these guys are a unit, man. Like in unison. I was like, oh, these guys never had a chance.
Yeah, and
I'm sure they saw
Maximus.
that. They're like, wait, are those bow and arrows on fire? One dude look, yeah, I think we're done. Bro.
Yeah,
I think we're done.
Yeah, they're like,
I was just carving a stick. 5 seconds ago, and these guys got fire bow and arrows.
Maximus has a dog with him that's like, I don't know what his role was, but the dog was lit. He was I don't know, I guess leading them or scoping out the territory. But you're right, they were like, oh, they probably looked to the side and were like, well, shit. They were also outnumbered like 10-1. Like
100%.
But hey, they went out with honor.
Yeah, I mean that the numbers thing doesn't necessarily mean anything because there's been a lot of wars where the lower numbered have won, but it's usually more so when they come to their spot where it's like they know their land. It's like you're coming to my crib like on some Home Alone shit where it's like we got booby traps and all this shit.
Yeah,
ready
we could
for
set
you,
up the paint cans and the Christmas ornaments.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But in this case, it wasn't. I'm pretty sure it was neutral ground from what I know.
Well, it was in Germania at least, but they built this whole setup. Like they have trenches, they have a wall, so it basically looks like they're on the defense because they do come to them. So I don't even know how this whole thing got set up, but you're right. Normally when it's smaller, you can build like a fortress and you have the high ground and like all these advantages. But in this case, they just showed up and got washed.
Well, one thing I saw that was interesting too is like, again, it goes to with the practicalness of it. But I always feel bad when you go back and you see like the practical things they did when they have animals because I saw Ridley Scott talk about how I was like, yeah, man, like I think I didn't see anything saying about any of the horses being harmed or anything, but he said like it was a tough sell to get those horses to jump through fire and stuff like that
Mm,
because they're on real horses and they really are jumping over fire. And I'm like, yeah, it's not like a horse understands that we're shooting something. It's probably thinking
right.
like, wait, what? You want me to jump over that? Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing over here?
That's a
And
good
for
point.
multiple takes, it's just like, okay, enough with the jumping over the fire, bro. Like, give me a carrot or some shit.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe they just load them up with carrots. I feel like
Yeah.
there's maybe trained horses because I know you can train like most animals to be in movies, so they're probably
Yeah, to
trained.
jump
But
over, but to jump over fire though, I'm sure
yeah,
they're used to jumping over like freaking like the things at like horror shows and stuff.
just like
But
sticks.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Now they gotta jump over fire, but
yeah, that's a good point. But
but
so
no, it was
then
a dope,
Commodus
a
pulls
really good
up.
opening scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, really dope. Yeah, I agree. Really grabbed me right away. Like I said, the action. There's so much action in this movie, and we jump
Hmm.
right off with it. It was sick. So Commodus pulls up, and then we see the total opposite of Maximus. Like all of the
Hmm.
soldiers, they do not fuck with him in the slightest,
Oh
bro.
yeah, yeah,
Like he would, like
yeah.
I said, Maximus was just one of the guys. This guy pulls up, and he's giving that like I'm better than you
Yeah.
aura, and he's
Mhm.
like he's stepped down from the carriage and he's just a bitch, man. Like he's a bitch
Nah.
to the whole movie, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
Nah, no, I feel you. It's true. He comes off giving that vibe. It's like he didn't read the room. It's like you're coming in with like your nice ass like Prince outfit and
Yeah,
everything, and everyone just is all in dirt. Just went through all this like fighting and shit. And it's just like
like
you're
bro,
not one of us, bro.
my homies just died. Like we were just went into war. I was an inch from death. My leg just got cut off. My
Yeah,
homie's dead, and you're pulling up like, good job, brother. Fuck
yeah,
you.
exactly.
You're a
Yeah, no, yeah,
titled little rat.
no, exactly. Like where were you, yo? Why weren't you in the trenches with us, yo?
Facts. Maximus was.
That's what I'm
Maximus was in
saying.
there.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like,
Yeah.
nah, it
He could
wasn't really
fight
one.
though, because like
Yeah.
right after we see a little shot of him like training or whatever, and he was
Mhm.
like moving quick. I was like, oh shit, so he actually can't fight. Why wasn't he in the trenches? What the hell?
But here's my thing on that though. I feel you. I felt the same way, and then like a second later, I was kind of just like, "But are they really gonna hurt the Emperor's son? Are they
Yeah,
really gonna like slash at him?" So I'm like, they're fighting him, but there's a little bit of hesitance. I feel like
true.
he's still putting in the moves. Like the moves are still there. Like the
Mhm.
moves are there, but it's just like, is he in really that much danger? So it's like, how
No,
nice is
you're
he
right.
really?
He's definitely not in danger, but it was just
Yeah,
more like the speed and the moves. I was like, okay, that's actually pretty decent.
yeah. It's like playing the Emperor's son 1-on-1, but you can't foul
You
him. So
can't
now you're
win.
scared to
Yeah,
play defense. You know what I mean?
facts.
You're just like,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's just like,
no
but
hand checking.
yeah,
He got the Jordan rules,
yeah, exactly.
the Commodus rules.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So
So
that
then,
was my main.
so then Caesar gives the power to Maximus.
Yeah.
They pull up and they have this conversation, and he's talking about the politics in Rome are so bad because he just wants to go home. And I was like, man, corrupt politicians, some
Oh
things
yeah.
never change, bro.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Doesn't matter what time period we're in, man. Oh my
Exactly.
goodness.
Maximus and Caesar, I felt like their relationship actually, I was like they had the father son relationship. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I fuck with this.
Which is it makes you wonder like what went wrong? Like how did this like why didn't well I guess we kind of get into that when they have their one-on-one where he says like he's like, "Oh, your fault as a son is my fault as a father." It's like, "Yeah, like why is your son such a bitch?" like like why did you raise him like this? Like there's nobody else, it's really no one else's fault but you. It's just like
Yeah.
why is it you have him sitting like on a pampered life. We see him training, but I don't think he's not out there that much.
No, I mean that's the reason is because he
Yeah.
has people waiting on him hand and foot, so he doesn't have like respect for the daily grind. Maximus, I mean, we don't really learn about how he came up, but I'm assuming he came up in more of a modest, well, definitely more of a modest. He's not the
Yeah.
emperor's son, so
Yeah.
he's definitely more modest. Worked his way up, and like we say, he's in them trenches, man.
No, it's
He's
true.
doing work, he's fighting, and he's winning these battles. But I would assume Caesar, like as Commodus was a kid, like growing up,
Mhm.
Caesar was out like conquering, right? So he
Yeah.
was out like fighting battles or leading people or doing politics or whatever, right? So he was
Yeah.
probably not there much as a father, which is like he said, he's like that is my fault. But that scene with him and Commodus, I thought was actually really really good.
Oh no, so did I. Like I thought it was really powerful, and I thought that It was I saw that like that's quote I was talking about. Like when he says like your fault as a son or mine as a father. Apparently that was a scene like a line that he came up with as they were about to shoot the scene, which is crazy to me because I feel like that's such a powerful line in that scene. Like
Mm.
I think the scene still works without it, but like him getting on his knees and like that's how the whole like hug thing even happened. So I'm like, what else? Made me wonder like what else was this scene gonna? How else were they gonna lead to that? Maybe we're just gonna say something else, but
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, there's like the whole concept of like all the virtues that you explain, like loyalty and bravery and all this stuff is not the virtues that I have. But he explains, he's like, I do have qualities. Like
mhm,
my qualities are just outside of the battlefield, which is
yeah,
realistic, right? He's like nobody's good at everything, but everybody's
yeah,
good at something, right? So he's like, what I'm good at is not what you prioritize or not what you value, and that's what hurts me. But he's like, what did I do to make you hate me so much? Like I tried, I
mhm,
train, like I have qualities, they're just not the ones that you necessarily value, and
yeah.
that's all that Maximus has.
Yeah, I know, which is rough, man. It's a powerful scene.
It
It's
really
a really
is.
powerful scene.
So then he kills his pops,
Yeah, little
and
bear hug.
yeah, yeah, strangles him. Then Caesar rejects Commodus. He says no, and then he's set to be executed. And then, like you said, they have him chained up, and he escapes.
Yeah, I thought the one thing that surprised me that like shocked me is when I can't remember who the guy said it to, just one of the guys that was like taking him, where you're just like, take care of my family, make sure my family's okay. He's like, they'll join you in death. I was like, oh damn.
Yeah,
I was like, why not just leave them alone? What is why they don't want his son to turn into the next Maximus and come avenge his
yeah,
father or something? Origin story. That's what they're
yeah.
worried about.
That's a good
I don't
point.
know.
I didn't even think of that.
Like
I assumed they
why?
were
But
just like they. Well, I think Commodus was just so pissed, right?
mhm,
He was like, "Man, my dad gave all his power to this guy. Fuck this
yeah,
guy. I'm killing him, and
yeah,
I'm
true.
killing his family too." So I think it was more just like that. He's jealous and pissed off. But
Yeah.
you're right; they didn't necessarily have to do it.
Yeah, especially the kid, man. That shit was wild. When he got clipped by the
He
horse,
got
I was like, damn.
smoked by that
Oh
horse,
my
bro.
God. I was like,
Dude,
how did they do that scene? It looks so real.
he got fucking smoked by that horse, bro. Oh my god. He was
Oh my.
just like, but what why did he not try to get out of the way? Like you don't see like 10
Yeah, I
horses
know.
sprinting at you. Like, come on, dog. Get out of the way. He just
Why?
stands there and takes it in the chest. Oh, that was tough. That
Yeah,
was
that's
nasty.
tough. Yeah, no.
That actually killed me, bro. That actually
Yeah,
killed
I
me.
know. I didn't expect it. I thought they were gonna stop and be like, and then grab them or something. He just went right through them. I was like, oh damn, they're not playing around.
Dusted him.
But
And Maximus pulls up and he has this whole he's crying and he has his Russell Crowe, I guess, gets his acting scene, right? Where he could show his
yeah.
chops and he's full like snot fest. He's going
Oh
crazy.
yeah, it's
But
nasty. Yeah.
what kind of confused me, and I was wondering if you noticed or if you had an answer. Because
Mhm.
basically he escapes the guards that are executing him, right?
Yeah.
And he grabs a horse, but he gets hit in the arm, so he's like, oh fuck, like my arm
Yeah.
hurts, he's weak. And then he's slowly riding on this horse, and then like he basically looks up and he's like, oh shit, my family. And then he starts like
Yeah.
riding fast, and then
Mhm.
it seems like he got to his family in like a couple hours. I thought they were in
Yeah.
Rome.
Yeah. I actually saw I wasn't purposely looking into that, but I saw the answer to that question where it was
Okay.
like Ridley Scott was saying how it's like, yeah, that trip to see his family would have been like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He's like, but I didn't want it to make that like a big part of the movie. He's like, I wanted him
Okay.
just to get there because the movie's like the movie's already 2 hours. It was out 2 hours and like 30 minutes, and it was even longer. They had to like cut it down for the theatrical cut. He's like, I don't the journey of him going to his family. He's like, it doesn't need to be,
Yeah.
which I respect, to be
No,
honest.
no, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Because
We
what would
didn't
the
need to
journey
see the
be?
whole. Yeah, we didn't need to see the whole journey for sure. I mean, we see one little shot of him like making a campfire and chilling,
Yeah.
so we understand that it wasn't. I guess I just said a couple hours, so I guess I knew it wasn't a couple hours, but
Mhm.
I was like, this guy was just in Germany and he got to Rome. It seemed like it was
Yeah.
quick because he's like wearing the same clothes and like he's. I mean, I guess where would he get a change of clothes? But I don't know, man. It just felt like quick, really quick.
No, it did feel quick. It did. Another thing I was wondering too, and I just didn't see an answer to, which I assume maybe he brought. Why did he bring the second horse? Was the second horse for his wife, so he'd have two
Mm,
horses? Because he has two horses. And then suddenly when he's going to his family, he just has one. So I was wondering, like, why did he have two horses?
That's a good question. That's a good point. I was just
Yeah,
about to say, like, maybe you could have one that you ride halfway and then you can, like, switch them out. Like, when one gets tired, you can get to the other one. But in order to have the other one, it would have to follow you
yeah,
the whole way. So it'd still be ready. But also, how does
that's
he
what I
feed
mean.
the horses? You have to feed them something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm glad we don't. The journey
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
there
not
for
that
that
big a
reason
deal.
because he's probably
Yeah.
thinking like, I'm gonna have to explain him feeding them and them being tired and all that
Yeah.
shit. Like these dudes are gonna talk too long about it on a podcast, and like I just took it out.
Yeah, exactly.
I just
Good
took the
point.
shit out. But no,
And then
to jump over it, but like that him breaking away from those dudes was wild though. Like him
yeah.
fighting them, throwing the knife, like that shit was hard.
it was superhero shit. That's what I wrote down. I was like, this is superhero shit. Like he's like
Oh,
you said,
really
he's
was.
tied
Yeah.
up. He's like, oh, give me an honorable death. Just like headbutts him and
Mm.
somehow escapes. Like throwing the sword was crazy. That was, and then
Oh
there
yeah.
was even like a slow kind of reveal when the guy rides on the horse, and they both swipe at
Mm.
each other, right? And he's like, oh fuck my arm, and the other guy's on the horse, and then there's a few seconds, and
Yeah,
then
and
he
then he just
falls
dropped.
over, and it
He
was
just
like, oh
dropped.
okay, he got him.
Yeah.
He got him.
Yeah, no, it was hard. Yeah, no,
That was tough.
they that was their moment of building up. That was his like Iron Man, like when he was like when he got out after building the suit and just destroyed everything. That was his moment too,
Yeah.
because there was that little hard scene where it's like he calls for the dude on the horse, but like after he throws the sword, he like moves from behind like a tree and then he screams the dude's name. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like,
This guy's
all right,
tough.
we're in for it now. Yeah, we're in for it now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like we compared him to John Wick and like the Equalizer.
Yeah.
Like when you see this guy and he wants you dead, you're fucked. You're done. You're
Yeah,
done.
no, 100%. Yeah, it doesn't even matter if you're a horse or whatever. There's 5 of you. You're
Yeah,
chained up.
I mean,
Yeah,
this movie we're 20 minutes in or 30 minutes in, and we've seen him kill like 20 people. We've seen him lead a battle, kill a
Yeah.
bunch of people in that battle, and then now escape this. Like this guy, he's him.
Yeah, no, he really is.
When we go back to when he sees his mom and son and they're
Mhm.
hanging and then he's crying and he puts his wife's foot in his mouth. I'm like, what are
Oh,
you doing,
yeah,
bro?
yeah, I know.
Foot to mouth is crazy.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
don't
reason
know.
for that.
There is no, especially that your nose all snotty and it's an emotional scene. But I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I was shocked, and then as the snot was running down his face and everything, and I was like, oh, that's kind of nasty. But, but hey, I don't know.
He's a
You
foot
don't know
guy.
how you'd act in that. Yeah, I guess so. Tarantino would love that.
I
scene.
was just about to
But-
say maybe Tarantino had some input on that scene. He was maybe walking through the set and he's like, you know what you should do? You should put her foot in your
Yeah.
mouth. That would really send it home.
No, it was a really emotional scene though. Like it shocked me because it was such overkill of not only burning them but they hung them too. I'm like, god damn.
Yeah.
Like you're really pissing this dude off. I mean, obviously they assumed they were all going to be dead. They didn't think he's going to
Yeah, that's what I
alive
was
to
literally
see
about to say.
this,
I was
but-
like, what? Why would they do? Like, if you did this to send a message, that's one thing. But
Yeah.
he's supposed to be dead too. Why would they do this?
Yeah.
Who is this sending a message to?
I don't know, man. And you talked earlier about how, I mean, I agree with you to a certain point, but when I really think about it, I don't know how modest he was. Do you see his crib? When
Well,
you look back when they got,
now he's not modest. Now he's
Yeah,
a
now
general of
he's
the
not,
Roman
but-
army.
but I guess before, yeah, that's true.
That's what I
That's
meant.
true.
Like coming up as a kid, I wasn't sure.
Okay, yeah,
But you're right.
no, that's
Now
true,
he's
that's
got
true.
guap. Definitely.
Yeah. A big ass garden. And when he was talking about the garden, because they said like, "Oh, what does your house look like?" And he's like, "Oh, I got a garden." Like this is like and I was like, "Okay, cool." And then I saw his crib. I was like, "Oh, damn!" I was expecting like this small little thing and like this little garden. This man's got look like a castle.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well,
but
there's like the
hey,
gate that the horses ride up in. His son
Yeah.
gets folded on the driveway, but there's still a lot of like driveway up until you get to the house. There's big fields. Yeah, he's got a
Not
nice
true.
estate. Then we're in Africa, and we get our Family Guy
Mhm.
moment when there's like, okay,
Oh, yeah, true.
you are gladiators. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he said it.
Hey.
And we meet our guy Proximo. Proximo was dope.
Yeah, he was dope. Yeah, I messed
He
with
was
him.
like our mentor. he was fucking lit. Teaching
Yeah.
him the ways of the gladiator. I fucked with Proximo.
Yeah. I mean, at first he didn't seem good, but obviously,
true.
but yeah, because I mean, this guy's buying slaves, so
Yeah. But hey, you gotta,
Yeah.
guys gotta do what a guy's gotta do. You know, you gotta
yeah,
make
no,
ends meet,
yeah, you
right?
got to eat. Yeah, everybody's
Exactly.
got to eat. You know, that's true.
Exactly. And then I noticed he gave the same speech that Maximus gave right before the battle in Germania. Like when they were about to go out for the first gladiator fight, he's basically like, "We're all dead men, but while we're alive, we just want to do what's remembered." And then Maximus even like gives him a look. I noticed, and he's like, "Oh shit, that's basically my mantra."
I
But this
didn't
guy's a slave driver.
I didn't even catch that. Actually, that's a good
Yeah.
catch. I actually didn't even notice he said that.
Yeah.
I guess that's how that's like the first link. I guess like when you started thinking like, oh man, maybe this guy's kind of like me,
Exactly.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah. No,
as their relationship bonds.
yeah. And this was my first viewing, so I'm kind of impressed with myself that I caught that.
Yeah, I'm
to be
impressed
honest, bro.
too. Yeah, because I didn't even catch that. So look at him.
And then right before the gladiator fight, that guy pisses himself.
Oh yeah, I know that was hilarious.
I was like, this poor guy. I mean, you could understand it, right? But I'm surprised he
Yeah.
didn't get Commodus to pee himself at some point.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
So there is that first gladiator fight. This was when they were both chained together. This was sick, dude.
Oh yeah, no, this was sick. Yeah.
Him and
Because
Juba.
yeah, they're forced to fight. Yeah, I was gonna say I was looking for his name. Yeah, him and Juba. Yeah, no, they're forced to fight as as a unit together. They weren't all doing it as well as they should have at first, because obviously like you're just random dudes fighting together for your lives. But no, it was sick.
Yeah, yeah, good first gladiator fight. Then we see Commodus then going to the temple or the big palace or whatever, and Gracchus, who is there, one of the politicians, immediately calls him a bum, starts talking shit.
Oh
He's
yeah,
like,
I
the
know.
emperor's dead. This guy's not going to do anything, and he even talks shit to his face, and he starts
I
beefing.
know
I
that's
was like,
wild.
how is he not getting killed for this?
That's exactly what I was thinking too. I'm like, damn, bro, that's that's ballsy.
Yeah,
That's ballsy. But hey, I because I was literally thinking that in that moment too. I was like, oh, this guy's dead.
yeah.
Like, is he gonna show make him an example or something? But I was like, okay, there's some respect here. He knew that he respected him enough that he wasn't just gonna end him like that. But
I guess he had enough like
ballsy.
power, like sitting on the council or whatever, being in the politician, that if the emperor just has him killed, then everyone would be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But
Yeah, it's
at
not
the
a good
same
look.
time, it's not really a democracy. What is the people gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That exactly, and that goes back to our points where it's just like, damn, this guy's ballsy. He's ballsy. That's all it is at the
He
end of
is.
the day.
Yeah, he is.
He knew.
Uh,
He's like, I know about you.
I mean, like I said, you're a bitch. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna
Yeah.
do? You can't,
Yeah,
you can't like,
exactly.
kill me. You could have me ordered to
Yeah.
be killed, but you're not gonna.
Yeah,
do
that's the
that.
translation. That's the translation in modern 21st century translation of everything he said. You're a bitch. What you gonna do?
Basically. Then there's a second gladiator fight. We get the are you not entertained? Are
Yeah,
you not
classic.
entertained?
Yeah.
That had me fired up. That was dope.
Yeah, that goes high. Yeah, that was
Because
hype.
that was when he went in solo. Because
Yeah.
he went in by himself. Why did he go in by himself? I don't even remember.
I don't remember either, honestly.
They sent him in by himself. That's tough.
Yeah, that is tough. But he went beast mode, man. Like it didn't matter.
I was
It didn't
entertained.
matter. I was entertained.
I was entertained.
That it's funny because that was in the moment where I don't know if the quote was exactly after this, but it was somewhat after he did his whole thing, and then the guy came to him. What's the slave owner's name again? I'm forgetting his name.
Proximo.
Proximo. Yeah, Proximo was like, he said, "Win the crowd and win your freedom," and I was like, that made me think of like that's like some WWE shit, man. You gotta get the crowd on your side. It's like you gotta become the superstar. Like that's the thing. It's like you can't just beat them. You need a chant, yo. You need them
Yeah.
chanting your name. You need something. You need a catchphrase. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? He's like, all right,
Yeah.
watch this. Are you not entertained? Put on a t-shirt.
Yeah, right before the gate opens when he comes in, the glass shatters.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's Maximus. Oh. I mean, it literally is WWE, bro. They're like, this is a business.
No, it
right?
is,
like,
man.
We're this
100%.
pleasing the crowd. Like, it doesn't matter if you're winning. This is the whole, like, for them, it's a business, right? They're selling the slaves and everything. But that's a funny parallel. But it totally is. It totally is WWE.
It's immediately what I thought of when you said win the crowd and win your freedom. I was like, all right, I see that.
Oh, that's a good point. And then we get to the Colosseum, and Juba talks to him before we go into our first fight into the Colosseum, and he's like, my wife and son, Maximus says, my wife and son are waiting for me in death. And then Juba says, you will see them again, but not yet. I was like, whoa, this is
Yeah.
tough. I was like,
Yeah.
bro. So Maximus in the pregame speech before the first battle in Germania had that bar. And then
Mm.
Proximo, like I said, had the same thing that he told him before their first gladiator fight in Africa. And then Juba comes. I was like, yo, the pre-games in this movie are fucking hard. They're like these guys, if they were coaches, they'd have you ready to go and ball out.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you gotta be for them to be where they are.
Yeah,
You gotta have some bars ready, to get yourself hyped up too. I was
facts.
gonna say look in the mirror and say this, but I don't know if they would had mirrors. So I don't know. You look in the water, look in the water and get yourself hyped up.
Yeah, you're gonna do this shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
when that glass shatters, you get out there, you do some work.
Yeah.
Man, just the idea of him having like a walkout, have an entrance and a song is just killing me right now. And just in my head is it's funny.
Well, I mean, we kind of have that. Even like when like I'm jumping ahead, like but like when he runs up the stairs, like when they get into the Colosseum, like that is kind of like their entrance thing. It's like right before they go out, they're just like jogging up the steps to go up. I'm like, oh shit,
It's tough.
this is tough.
Yeah, like all literally like all the action in this movie, and it's all tough. Like it's
Yeah.
great. It's great, dude.
No,
I
really
fucking
good.
love this shit
I'm
part of
so
this
pumped.
movie.
Yeah, so I'm pumped. I'm pumped what we're gonna see in this new movie just for that. It's just like, oh man, what are we there's the budget I'm assuming is gonna be astronomical. Like
Yeah.
not like ridiculous where it's just like we're gonna go under after this movie, but like the budget's gonna be big. They put so much money into that, and then this is the sequel, which is IMAX. Like they're gonna go big, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, because they know people are gonna go see it because the first one was a
Yeah.
huge success. And I mean they gave a lot of money to Denzel, I'm sure. I'm sure that was a big part of the budget.
Oh, for
But
sure. And
yeah,
Pascal
I'm
too.
yeah. But I'm really excited for this movie too because
Yeah.
I had never seen this movie, but I was really excited to watch it because I knew what it was about and everything, and it was one of those ones on my list that I never got around to, and so I was
Mhm.
really excited. Watched it, I thought it was great. Like I said, the action is great. This next one, it's still Ridley Scott, so I'm assuming the
Yeah.
action is going to be super greatly, like you said, more money for the budget and better technology, CGI, and all that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of it's
Exactly.
practical, but I'm really excited for this new one.
Oh, me too. Me too.
And then there's we see Commodus again, and he's with his sister,
Mhm.
Lucilla, and he
Yeah.
wants to like kiss her. And he's trying to get with her. Then she's even
Yeah.
like, "Or are you still afraid of the dark?" I'm like, this guy's even afraid of the dark. Like this guy is a bum on every single level, man. Like Jesus, come
Oh
on,
man, yeah,
bro.
she sunned him right there, man. She just had to bitch him up again. She's like, "Yeah, I know your empire, but like, are you still afraid of the dark?" Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
That's crazy. Yeah,
it's
but like
it
like
is
you,
crazy,
if you
man.
imagine you're just a regular citizen and your emperor who's supposed to be leading you is afraid of the dark, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here, you
Yeah,
little
I know.
bitch. That's crazy, bro. Afraid of the dark is nasty, especially in
Yeah,
like
I know. That's
180 AD or whatever it is. There's gonna be dark all. There's not like now where
yeah, that's
there's
what I
like
mean.
street lights and like house lights and you know what I
That's what
mean.
I'm
Like
saying.
there would be as soon as the sun goes down, it's just dark. They'd have fire in the
He's
house.
just lighting
but
a fire. Yeah, he's lighting a
yeah,
fire everywhere. Just so
punk.
that's how you know the life he lived, bro. Is that's on Pops? So why don't you just let him sleep in the dark, bro? Let him get over that. How long
Facts.
was? Come on,
That's
Pops.
Marcus Aurelius's fault. Come on, Dad. Turn the goddamn lights off so your son's not afraid of the fucking dark.
Oh my
Yeah, that's a good
goodness,
point.
man.
That's a good point. And then we get he goes into the Colosseum. We
Yeah,
get that first fight in the Colosseum. We get the classic, the gladiator helmet. He gets his armor on.
yeah.
And then this huge Colosseum fight. The girl gets cut in half. They're like,
Oh my
he
god.
organizes them and they win the fight that they're supposed to lose. This shit is dope.
Yeah, this shit's insane, man. He's got his freaking MF Doom helmet on.
Yeah.
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 And I'm like, oh shit. I was like, that's hype. You know, it was really dope. You know what? One thing too that I don't know if you heard this. Did you notice the soundtrack that was playing during it? Did it like
I
draw
don't think
anything to you?
so.
You
No.
didn't notice anything, bro? It's the Pirates of the Caribbean theme.
Oh, yeah.
You
I
noticed
did notice
that?
that actually. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I did.
It's just slowed down.
Yeah.
It took me back. I was like, am I hearing that right? And I looked it up. I
Uh-huh.
was like, it was Hans Zimmer did this score and did the Pirates. And you listen to the two songs, it's like this man stole his own flow, yo, bar for bar. Like word
Word for word, bar for bar.
This man stole his own flow. It's like he just took what he did in Gladiator, and they tapped him like, "Yo, can you do pirates?" He's like, "I don't got time." He's actually, yeah, you know what? Let me just speed this shit up. Here you go.
Yeah.
Like it still slaps, but
I was about to
like,
say
I've
it
never seen that
bangs.
before.
It fucking
No, it
bangs.
bangs. I've just never seen that. I've never noticed that. I've never seen that before in a movie or heard that before in a movie. Like two scores being so similar. It's just that one. It's not the whole score of the movie. It's just that one song is literally the exact same thing as the Pirates of the Caribbean. And those movies came out within 3 years. So that's another thing why it's more wild to me too. Like, I
That's a
see
good
you,
point.
Han.
Yeah.
see you,
No,
Hans.
because I actually
Song
did
bangs,
notice
though.
that. Yeah, I did notice that when
Yeah.
I was watching. I was like, yeah, this sounds a lot like, I thought maybe it was a little like, maybe they tweaked it a little bit because like after I noticed that, I started listening a little bit closer, but then I was kind of over and I was like, I guess it's not the same. Like I just kind of assumed they made a
But
little
the
bit of
fact that
changes,
you
but I thought
thought
it kept the
about it.
melody the same. But you're right, I
Yeah.
thought about it, and if it is just slowed down, you're probably right, because it did definitely catch my ear, and I was like, okay, is Jack Sparrow gonna pull up or something? Like this is lit.
You imagine? It'd be so absurd, man. Like, are I watching Scary Movie or something? Like, random cameos from other movies start coming in. Like, what am I watching here? But
Fucking
no, I'm not
Johnny
mad
Depp
at it
pulls up and
anyway.
he starts running
Oh my
around the
God, that'd be hilarious.
Colosseum with his fucking. That'd be hilarious, dude.
Oh my God, I know. I don't have an issue with it. Like Hans is my guy. Like I have a couple of his albums. Yo, shout out Hans. I actually wanted to go to
Really?
his concert, but his tickets are too expensive. Yeah,
There's a
No,
concert?
yeah, he does. Yeah, because he's done so many classics, bro. Like you go all the way back to Lion King, and you go and he's done Inception. He's done so many things. He did Dune, like the most recent, both of them actually. Like it'd just be dope to hear his, because I've gone to a couple concerts, but no, his stuff. It's not like Taylor Swift or anything, but it's a little too much for
Hans
for how
Zimmer's
much I want to spend
Eras
on
tour.
Hans. Yeah, it's probably what it is. Honestly, he's probably just doing his greatest hits. Hans Zimmer's Eras tour. But
Did he do Interstellar too?
yeah, he did.
Yeah. No, he's got bangers for sure. So Commodus, he pulls up, and then we get the iconic monologue from Maximus. He say, I am. He has the reveal, takes his mask off. He's like, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm him. And in this life
Yeah.
or the next, I will get my vengeance. Ooh, yo, there's bars in this movie. I'm excited to hear what your quote is.
Oh, quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's hard to choose. There's a lot. There's a lot in here.
So that they're chilling in like the slave camp or whatever, and his boy, whatever the big guy, I actually don't know what his name is,
I know
whatever
you're
the
talking
big guy
about.
was, and he does the whole like fake dying at the soup thing. I was like, what the
Yeah.
hell? They threw a little comedy in this movie too. I was like, this is great.
Yeah, no, I had that written down too. If you didn't mention it, I was gonna be like, wait, I want to mention the fake poison scene because I thought that was funny too, because unexpected. I didn't think we were gonna get any little jokes like that.
It's weird, like the whole concept of this movie, like it's set in BC, right? Or no, AD. It's just after after Christ. But the humor and stuff like that is modern day humor. The people are old as hell. Like I feel like at that time nobody lived past like 25, and there's people with gray hair, and Marcus Aurelius looks like he's 60, and maybe him because he's the emperor and he would have got like the best treatment.
Yeah.
But like regular people, I feel like you barely stayed alive past like 18.
Yeah, that's true. And I remember there was some. I was reading that there were some like criticism of people saying that with that movie, and people are saying a little bit with this movie, but it really was like, bro, like we're taking the concept and we're kind of doing our own thing with it. Like we're not making this 100% historically accurate, because there's certain things in here. It's just like, all right, at the end of the day, it's a movie. Like relax.
Yeah,
It's basically what he was saying to defend it.
yeah. No, I mean it's true, and like I said, I just mentioned it. I didn't hate. It didn't make me like hate the movie or anything. Oh, this is so inaccurate. But you're right. It's a movie. It's not that deep. Then there's the next Colosseum fight when he goes against like the OG, the undefeated dude, and he immediately the thing that I noticed was he hits him with an old head move right away, like in basketball, like when you're trying to back down and they put their knee in your thigh or something, like this little old head move, because he kicks the sand right in his face right away to start the fight. I was like, what an old head, man.
Yeah. 100%. Anything to get an advantage. Like, damn, this young kid. How am I gonna get him? Let me throw some sand in his face.
Yeah, as soon as it happened, I was like, "What an old head, dude!" That literally made me think of just hoop. But it was funny. And then the tigers are there. This was another sick fight scene.
Oh, it was insane, bro. It was insane. Yeah, like apparently, like as I was watching some media, my first thing was like, I gotta look up to see how they shot this whole tiger scene thing. Like, did you see anything about the tiger? Like, I have a couple things on it, but
Yeah, well, go ahead. Go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say just the fact that like I obviously knew there to a certain extent. I knew the tigers there were real, but I was like, how much was this with CGI? How much was it like maybe like a robot that they made or something? But they said a lot of it was like real tigers. Like there was certain moments, like obviously when the tiger was on him, it wasn't real, but like the tiger coming out and then like the swiping and stuff, they said were actually real tigers. I'm like, damn, they're playing with fire, man.
Yeah, I
Just
think.
for the movie to look cool.
Well, I mean, at least because when for the movie, right, they have the tigers on a chain, and then there's like
Yeah.
people holding the chain. Whereas when they actually would have filmed the tiger swiping at him, it would have been chained up to a post or like a wall, like something that actually can't move.
Yeah.
So they would know you better hit your mark. Like if you go past your mark, you actually might get
Oh
mauled
yeah.
by a tiger. But or maybe they had like the tiger being swiped and then him fighting, and then they put the two shots together. I'm not 100% sure, but the tigers were real. That I know.
Oh, 100%. They said that Russell Crowe had like a 15-meter marker. He's like, do not get any closer than these
Yeah.
15 meters from these tigers. And I stayed 15 meters away. Like I'm not messing. Apparently, even the trainer actually got, bro. Like the trainer, when he
Oh
was like
shit.
trying to stop him, actually got bit by the tiger. Yeah, he had his protective stuff on, but the tiger bit through it and actually broke skin. I'm like, damn, bro. That's what I was saying. You're playing with fire when you got a real animal, especially like an animal like this. Like
Yeah.
that's not the one to mess with.
Yeah, a horse is like, yeah, a horse obviously can do damage, but like it's not gonna actively try to hurt you. Whereas a tiger can and will totally fuck you up.
And apparently in the script originally they were going to use rhinos.
Damn.
Yeah. Like and I'm like, talk about a struggle to keep them in check. Like I don't know how the heck they would do that.
Yeah, true. So then Commodus starts talking about his family. He's right,
Mhm.
starts telling about him like your son went out like a bitch, and
Oh
your
my
wife was like was getting rav. Like he talks
Yeah, it was
crazy
crazy.
about his family. I don't know how he doesn't like beat his ass on the spot.
Yeah, I don't
I
know
would have
how he had
swung
that
right away.
self-discipline. I don't know how he has that self-discipline. That's crazy.
He was talking about his if someone starts talking about my wife and son like that, crazy, I'm swinging
Oh
on
my
the spot. I don't
goodness.
care.
Yeah, I know. That was wild to me. I couldn't know. I was like, this guy he's yeah, that's why he's that guy, I would guess, because physically and mentally he's just stronger than us all.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good point. It's mentally too. Because he's also, yeah, you're right. He's not only loyal and strong and a good fighter, he's also true and just. But man, you start
Yeah,
to,
no, that
and
was
he
wild.
already wants to kill this guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't know where the willpower was. Cause like at this point, it's like, what do you have to fight for? It's like, get that one shot on that dude. Your family's already dead in your eyes. So it's like, what else do you have to live for besides get your revenge and then they're gonna get you.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh
because
man.
that's what he said that's what he wants. He wants his
Yeah.
revenge, and that's what he's here for.
Yeah, that was
Hey,
wild.
man, he saw the bigger picture. He's like, I can't
Yeah, he
just
did.
kill him. I have to then move the power gracefully
Yeah.
over to the right people, and because that's what he like ends up doing right at the end, right? He's like he kills him, and then he's like, okay,
Mhm.
now I have the power. But wouldn't that actually be the case even if he did kill him right on the spot? Wouldn't it go to him?
Yeah, I don't know if it works like that. Like if you kill the emperor, do you immediately become emperor? Is it like one of those situations? I don't
But
know.
he would have been next in line because he was the general, right?
Well, was he though at that point? Because as of now, he's just a slave, right? That's turned into a gladiator. So like that title's been stripped, from what I understood.
That's a good point.
So I don't know if he would have been next in line. I don't know who would have been next in line, honestly.
But then how does he become emperor at the end of the movie?
Yeah, I know. It's almost it's like they declared it, basically.
Yeah.
I don't, and I guess maybe that court of people, if that happens where the emperor dies, then suddenly they have to make a decision based off their own thoughts. I guess like a vote or something. If there is no next in line.
But there wasn't a vote because when he kills Commodus,
Yeah,
he's dying. So he
yeah,
immediately becomes emperor. He says, "I want to give the power to what was his name? The Gracchus. I want
yeah,
to give
yeah.
the power to Gracchus and give it to the people." And
Mhm.
then he gets taken, and then he dies. So like, what? Why would it have been any different if he just killed him then?
I guess no, that's a good point. I guess maybe it's in battle. Maybe that's the whole thing. It's like if you defeat the
Mm,
emperor in battle, one-on-one combat, it's like you
yeah.
take his power kind of thing. I'm assuming. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's a good point. Yeah, that's probably it. That's a good point. Because then it's fair and square. It's like this is the
Yeah.
fight for it. It's not like yeah. You're probably
Yeah,
right.
versus like if you sneak up on the emperor and kill him, it's not like, hey, now I'm in power. Because then
Yeah,
a lot of people would try to do that kind of thing. But it's like if he declares like we're gonna have one-on-one fight and you beat me, that's just the unwritten rule. It's like, all right, well, you deserve to take my power.
yeah. No, you're probably right. That's a good point.
Mm.
So then he links with Gracchus and Lucilla, and this is when they form the plan.
Hmm.
And Commodus then comes on to his sister again. I'm like,
Yeah, I
dude, what
know.
the hell?
Yeah,
And then he
so
threatens her. Oh, that
yeah,
was
I
this
know.
was
It's
actually
wild.
pretty tough. He had
No, it was intense.
some juice in this scene where he's like, "Am I not merciful?" Like right in her face. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, he's actually being a little bit tough here. Commodus showing some
yeah.
backbone.
And apparently that was ad lib too. I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I was like, oh damn, all right. He's putting some. See, we're not talking about Joaquin Phoenix here. We're not saying he's a bitch. He just
No,
plays bitches.
exactly.
But
And plays them well. So
yeah,
maybe
and
he
plays.
is.
But no, that was hard though. That I gotta give it to him for that. Like you even said that earlier too. You mentioned that you didn't like his character because he's kind of a bitch, but like he did have his moments, and this definitely was one of them.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like I said, he had the moment with his dad when he was that he wasn't tough, but it was a good moment, an important moment for his character when he was like down. He was like, "What did I do to make you hate me?" I thought that was great for his character. This was tough, so you're right. I guess he did have a couple moments, but for the most part, I thought he was just predictably every time he was on screen, I was like, he's just gonna do some bitch shit.
No, correct.
Correct. uh, then we get the fight at the slave camp where
Mhm.
we're like, okay, now he's gonna escape. They're gonna exact the plan. Nope, he gets ambushed and gets taken right away. Did you think this was gonna happen, or did you see this coming?
No, well. What surprised me was his boy being on the horse and then just the
Mm,
horse going and him getting hung. That shocked me. I was like, oh damn! Like I thought it was gonna be one of those situations where he's like, no, Maximus, don't come, and then they're always gonna pull through and his boy was gonna be in handcuffs. But the fact that they killed him too, I'm like, they're really trying to piss off Maximus, yo. Everybody that has ties to him, they're just trying to like kill him right in front of. Oh man, like you're giving this guy so much fuel.
yeah, no, I didn't see it coming either. I was like, okay, he's getting out. He's gonna get with his legions, and then they're gonna have this big war. But at the same time, I was like, there's not that much time in the movie left. If that was the
Yeah.
case, like there's no way they're gonna have a giant war with all of Maximus's army against whoever's loyal to the throne of Rome, still in Rome. There's no way we're gonna have this giant battle. So
Yeah, that's
I
true.
wasn't sure exactly how it was gonna go, but I didn't see that coming, just like you.
Yeah, no, not me neither.
Another good fight though. And Proximo gets taken
Yeah.
out by the guard. He's like
Oh
admiring
yeah.
his freedom on his that wooden
Hmm.
sword right before he gets taken out. And I don't know if you know this, but Oliver Reed, who plays Proximo, he
Hmm.
died of a heart attack before filming was done. So his character was actually supposed to survive in the movie, but they
Oh
changed
really?
it. Yeah, they changed it when he died, and so that's why he was killed in that moment.
Oh shit. So like the person that got stabbed was just like a stunt double or something?
Yeah, I think so because you see them walking up behind him, and then
Hmm.
I think they had maybe a close up of his face. So I think they used a double and some CGI to get that moment,
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he was supposed to survive. Like right at the end, when Juba buries those little figures of
Hmm.
Maximus's son and wife in the Colosseum, that was
Yeah.
supposed to be Proximo.
Oh shit. I didn't realize that. Because yeah, it's not like the movie like because in my mind I was like, oh man, it's just another tragic death that happens in the movie. But to me, I was like, damn, did they really have to kill him? But I guess they ended up killing him for that reason. But yeah, damn, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it was just something I read, and I was like, oh shit, our boy was supposed to make it. Proximo, I fucked with Proximo, man. I
Yeah,
didn't want to see him
damn,
go out, but
man.
it kind of was. They did him right. Like he was admiring that sword. He's like, I'm a free man. Like I earned my freedom, and he took it willingly. He took it like a champ. Like they all walked up. He knew he was gonna get got, and he's just like accepted his
Mhm.
fate. He's like, I released Maximus. I did what I could do to help the people of Rome, and this is my consequence. I'm gonna take it on the chest.
Yeah, no, yeah, he was that guy. Yeah, like you were saying, it's like it was a tough loss, but it's just like, hey, at least he in the end, like at least he got some like a redemption arc. Like, because at
Mhm.
first he was just like seemed like this scummy guy that was just buying slaves, but then we learned more about him. So it's just like, all right, well at
Yeah.
least he dies on a high note of like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
I'm
But
rooting for this guy now. Before I was like, oh,
exactly.
I hope like, yeah, I hope Maximus escapes from this guy. Now it's like, oh no, he's one of the boys, and then it's like,
100% because he stops them from coming through the gate into the camp for a little bit. Like he
mhm.
buys them a little bit of time, right? So he can escape. And so he's one of the good guys, right? So, but
Yeah,
he goes out like a champ. He goes out like a boss at least. They give him a good ending, and especially because the actor himself died. If he went out like a punk,
yeah,
when that'd be pretty uncool.
yeah. It'd be pretty. No, that'd be pretty messed up.
Yeah, exactly. So then Commodus comes in, stabs him right before their fight. It looked like he stabbed him right in the heart. I was like, how is he not dead
yeah, yeah,
instantly? I was like, how is
yeah.
Maximus
That's what I
not
was.
dead right away?
I don't know, man. His heart's built different.
Yo, he lit his stab it straight through the heart, and he's like, okay, now he's gonna be weak for the fight. He should be dead. What are you talking about?
Yeah, like I didn't. Was that supposed to be like a poison? Like had poison on the end of it or something? Like I didn't understand why that was his final. Considering all the things he went through, and we're assuming that that wasn't his heart that got stabbed.
Yeah.
Why did it seem like he was like slowly fading from like poison entering his system or something? I didn't.
That's a
I
good
wasn't
point.
sure if I
Yeah,
missed
no,
that.
that's a good point. I didn't even think. I just assumed he was bleeding out and like he was
Yeah.
slowly dying that way. But you're right. If we assume it didn't hit his heart, because if it did hit his heart, he would have just died.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. That's a good point. Oh,
And
well,
again,
it's a movie.
this isn't any like yeah, this isn't any
Yeah.
knock on the movie or anything where I'm just like, oh, that shit didn't make sense. Like I thought I missed something where I was like, oh, did I miss him like slowly putting poison on the end of it and then stabbing him or something? And I was like,
Mhm.
I just didn't rewind it. And I was like, okay, maybe I just took it as what it is. I was like, okay, well, something happened and he's dying. So like I
Yeah, yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
like, I need to go. Well, I don't know,
No,
but
I agree. Same thing. So they then go, they fight. He kills Commodus, of course. I saw that. I'm
yeah.
assuming you saw that coming as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he gives the power to Gracchus, the big final. He's heroic. I mean, he's the hero throughout the whole movie. I didn't think anything else would happen other than him
Yeah.
succeeding.
Mm.
But then he dies. They carry him out like a champ, and we see Commodus still there. They just leave him
Yeah.
lying in the
I know
dirt.
that.
That was rough.
Yeah, that was his own sister. I mean, like, it's not like him and his sister were tight, especially the way he was treating her throughout the movie. But you know, that visual was like hilarious of just them all lifting, and you just see the man just sitting there in the dirt. It's like, damn, they really don't. Not one person was like, I kind of fucked with him. Nah, like, everyone was like, nah, fuck that dude.
Yeah. Hey, I'm kind of scared of the dark too, man. I thought he was a good emperor.
Yeah.
Not one person. Everyone was like, "Fuck that guy."
Yeah.
Maximus is our guy, and now Rome is back in the hands of the people.
Yeah.
And and then we get this cool. I like the way they blued out the screen, like when he's in the fields and he's with it. He's reuniting with his son and his wife, so it's clear that they're in the afterlife. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought the whole afterlife theme, I liked it. I thought it was cool, a
Yeah.
cool idea. I thought it was a good way to like a cool way of living life almost. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the whole idea of we're already dead. You know, like
Yeah.
we're all gonna die eventually, right? So we're
Mhm.
already dead, but while we're here, you know, we can become legends. We can do
Yeah.
good for the people that will still be around. I thought it was just a cool concept.
No, I thought it was really cool too. And it's just like it makes it more because like obviously he's our hero, right? So it makes it more it makes it not as much as a sad ending because you're like, oh
Mhm.
well, he's reunited with his family, he's with his son and everything. So it's not like this tragic, and it's like a mix of like it is a kind of a tragic ending, but at the same time, it's like okay, the power goes back to the people, and he's also reunited with his family. So it's like oh shit, like everything kind of worked out in the end, kind of thing.
Yeah, I honestly I don't see it as a sad ending at all, really, because I think
Hmm.
he he mentioned like all throughout the movie he's talks about the afterlife, like being in Elysium, and he wants to be with his family, right? He's like even
Hmm.
Commodus asks him right before he stabs him in the heart. He's like, "Oh, Maximus the courageous, like how is it that you can go into battle and face everybody and you know not even worry about anything?" And he's basically said he's like, I'm gonna die. Like I'm gonna die at some point.
Yeah.
When and how it happens, like that I don't know, but like I'm gonna die, so why be scared of it? So I mean, he's not scared of death. So him dying, I don't necessarily see as sad because, like you said, he ends up with his
Mhm.
wife and his son, and then the power is back in the hands of the people. So I see it only as a happy ending, really.
No, that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Did you
I
have
can't
any
dispute that.
other facts before we get into the filmies,
Oh
or did you
yes.
have anything else to say about the
I
movie?
No, I think we kind of wrapped it up perfectly. Like
Mm.
the way that with everything just happened in the end. But as far as facts go, um, I had like one funny thing that I saw like when I was like doing research. I saw like Ridley Scott talking about just like within like making the movie, kind of like behind the scenes stuff. And he talked about because apparently like throughout the movie, like I don't know if you kind of noticed the change in Joaquin's character. How like in the beginning he was more like he was more skinnier, and then throughout the movie he kind of gained more weight. And and his defense was that like, oh well, I felt like as I was became like the emperor and I got back to Rome, it'd make more sense for my character to kind of put on weight because it's like, well, now I'm home and I can be pampered. I'm eating more food, so I'm now more
Yeah.
fuller in the face. I'm not as pale and stuff like that. And apparently, on set, Ridley was like went over to a line producer and was like, "Oh, looks like Joaquin put on some weight." And then and then apparently the line producer went over to Joaquin and says, "Oh, Ridley says you're getting fat."
Damn.
and then and then Joaquin goes over to Ridley and says, so apparently I heard I'm a fat hamster.
What the hell? Why did he add that in? What the fuck?
I don't know. And Ridley was like, oh yeah. And then he told him his whole thing. He's like, oh, I thought about, I don't know, the emperor comes back. I feel like he put on weight. He's like, nah, like, I get it, but it's like, you probably didn't do that. So then apparently Ridley was like, he didn't eat for weeks after that just to drop back down in
Damn.
weight.
No way. That's hilarious. I did not see that. What fat hamster? Why hamster?
Yeah,
Why did he-
I don't know. I don't. That was the one thing that I saw that I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. Little anecdote.
Yeah, that is funny. That's hilarious. That's so weird. I feel like Joaquin Phoenix is weird.
Yeah, I know he's a weird guy. I've heard that on a lot of sets.
Yeah.
But hey, he knows what he gives us good movies though. At least good characters.
100%.
What
Yeah,
about
I
you?
don't
Did you
got a
find
problem.
any?
I mean, even Tom Cruise I've heard is a weirdo, but
Oh,
he makes
yeah.
good movies, and yeah, I don't care. Whatever you want to do in your personal life, that's your business. Just make
Yeah.
good movies.
Yeah, exactly. What about you? Did you find anything?
Well, my only real cool one was that the Proximo thing that he died before they
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
that thing.
And I didn't see
Um,
that, so that's interesting.
okay, well, two ones that we each didn't see. So, uh, time for the filmies. Then.
Let's get into the filmies. Okay, so if you're new to the show, where we have a segment of our show called the Filmies, where I give out 6 awards. Um, First award that we have the Ferris Bueller Award. So it's an award that we give out. It's our AKA our lazy award. So we give it. It could be a director, writer, anybody on set that we deem was being lazy, but it's all in jest. Like it's not something that actually we feel like ruined the movie, but something funny that we wanted to point out. So Scott, what is your Ferris Bueller Award?
Mine goes to Commodus.
Okay.
Big surprise, I feel like. But honestly, I had a little bit of trouble. But anyways, so I gave it to Commodus for basically just continuing to send Maximus back into the Colosseum over and over. Like, because
Mhm.
he wants him dead, right? And
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it in no way." Like, bro, it's not working. It's not working, dog. Like, you're setting him
Yeah.
into the Coliseum, and he keeps winning. Like, dude, you got to do something else. And I mean, he ends up stabbing him and taking him to the Coliseum himself, and he ends up dying
Yeah.
for it. Like, but the crazy thing is, like, after the first Coliseum fight,
Mhm.
Lucilla comes to see Maximus, right? He gets chained up, and then she like
Yeah.
emerges from the shadows like Batman. That was kind of crazy. But
Yeah.
he like jumps out. He's like, I knew your brother would send assassins, and so even he was like Sending like he knew his brother would do this and he doesn't. What are you doing, bro? Send assassins, kill this guy. Like sending him into the Colosseum is not working, and you're not even trying anything else. That's just lazy.
No, that's good. The funny thing is my Ferris Bueller also goes to Commodus, and it's for a similar reason. So I don't know if we can call it
Okay.
a certified, because I said like my Ferris Bueller goes to Commodus because he stabs Maximus instead of training or setting up more hurdles for him. So it's like we're on the same kind of wavelength. It's not the exact same thing, but we're on the same wavelength of like,
Yeah.
dog, what you're doing. To me, it was also like we saw him train one time.
Yeah.
And then he felt. I'm sure maybe he's been doing more, just off camera, I guess. But maybe we should have saw some more training. Maybe you should, again, set up more hurdles. But yeah, no, he just gets. I it's not really a certified, but he both gets it.
Yeah.
Gets it from us for similar reasons, I
Yeah.
guess.
No, he is being lazy, and you're right. Like maybe we should have got maybe this is a hot take, bro. I feel like every movie should have a montage. Montage is fucking rock. Like
Oh
for
yeah,
any
montages are good.
dude, montages are great. It's a great way to show like a character going from point A to point B quickly in a movie without taking too much time or anything. So
Yeah.
yeah, having them like both preparing for the fight or something. But yeah, he's lazy, man. Like setting up more hurdles. They could have had the Tigers for that fight too. They could have had all
Yeah.
sorts of shit. But he didn't do none of that.
Because to me, I think again, this isn't now I guess we're getting back into the movie a little bit, but I didn't ruin the movie for me for anything. I always have to like preface with that because I don't think it's any like it knocks down the movie for me. But to me, there was no way. I didn't think there's a second of a chance that he beat him in the fight because
Yeah.
up until that point, like I said, we saw him train one time, and this whole movie we've just seen Maximus be a badass. So when their fight's happening, there's like no suspense. You know what I mean? It's not
Mhm.
like in Dune 2 when we see the fight with like Paul Atreides and freaking Austin Butler, where it's like, oh damn, like these are two dudes that can fight. It was not
Mhm.
like that at all. It's like we have a bitch and we have a dude that's a freaking gladiator. It's like there was no suspense in this fight. It's like when is he gonna die? That's all it was. Like when?
Yeah.
How long is this gonna go before he dies? And it was
You're
not that
right.
long.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I was gonna say. At least they didn't take a whole bunch of time, right? Because like if they
Yeah,
spent
to
like
waste our time.
yeah, if they spent 10 minutes in this fight where we're just like, okay, like Maximus, kill him, all right? Like we get it. We know you're gonna kill
Yeah.
him. You're fucking Maximus, and that's Commodus. He can't do shit. So get ready, hurry up, kill him. So at least it was quick. Like right, they get into
Yeah.
the Colosseum. We're like, there's no way Maximus loses this, and he kills him quick. So at least they
Yeah.
didn't waste our time.
Exactly. Yeah. That was my only thing. But again, it's still a great. At the end of the day, still a great movie. But
Yeah.
our next award that we have, very self-explanatory, our fit check. So best fit of the movie. I'm gonna say best fit or worst fit. So Scott,
did-
what was your?
Yeah, I didn't give it to a
What was
worst
your-
fit. It's another best fit. I gave it to
Okay.
Maximus again. Maybe surprise. He's our fucking
Okay.
hero. He does everything. He
Yeah.
can dress well. These guys can do everything, bro. I gave it to him for
Yeah.
his gladiator armor, like the iconic
Okay.
the helmet for one,
Mhm.
but also like the chest plate with like the horses was black and silver. It was fucking dope, dude. I was like this gladiator armor is fucking hard.
Oh yeah. No, I 100% agree. It was. He didn't get my fit check, but Commodus actually had some fits too. Like they were just clean.
Yeah.
Like they were legit clean. Like because they never laid a finger, but
Yeah, exactly.
or raised a finger, I should say. But some of his fits are pretty clean. But I didn't give it to him. I had to. But I respect the gladiator fit just because it's like it's an iconic fit. You know, it's like it's
Yeah.
his Iron Man suit or whatever it is. It's like it's a dope fit. That's a good fit check.
I had like another one that I almost gave it to. So I'm curious to see if maybe that it was yours. Let's see.
Okay. Well, mine goes to Commodus' sister, How do you say her name again? It's Lucia.
Lucilla?
Lucilla.
I
Yeah,
think.
was it Lucilla?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so mine goes to Lucilla. It's like I actually have the time stamp of it. So it's like an hour and 3 minutes in. She was wearing like this, it was like a blue dress, and she had like this orange shawl over top of it, and it had like gold feathers on it. Like she was bawling out. Like she had like a matching orange veil. She had gold earrings, gold rings, gold necklace. I was like, damn, is she just walking around the palace like this? I'm like, that's just every day. She was going hard. So I had to
Yeah.
give it to her for that. I had to show her some love.
Yeah, no, great pick. She was getting some crazy fits off. That actually wasn't mine. Mine was it was a little bit. It was I mean it's the same idea. Like she had a pink
Yeah.
dress and she had like a green cloak over top, like the one that I like. But
Mhm.
it was but
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. She was like had crazy colors going. Jewelry was going crazy. There was
Oh
accessories going
yeah.
on fleeks. Yeah, she was getting some crazy fits. I mean, to be fair, she's the emperor's daughter, so she's rich as hell.
Yeah. No, 100%. And that's why like I felt like I was gonna lean towards one of them because I was like, man, they're just throwing their money on themselves. They got so
Yeah.
much trip. I'm like, it's probably gonna be one of them. That's why I was leaning. I was like, it's gonna be one of these two because like they're going crazy.
Yeah, like I said, I almost gave mine to her, but like I don't know. I just the helmet is tough. It's so iconic, and like the chest plate, like
Yeah.
the I just when he put it all together and then he steps into the arena, I was like, yeah, this guy's fucking. He can't lose. He can't lose.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not mad at that. It's a great pick, honestly. Like it's a it's a really good pick. But so our next award we have is our favorite quote. So Squall, what was your favorite quote in the movie?
Mine was I talked about like the pregame speeches, how I thought they were sick in this movie. So mine comes from Maximus's
Mm,
pregame, right at the start of the movie, right
mm,
before they start the fight in Germania. Because so he sets up his troops, right? He goes on like he sets up with his boys on like the flank. They're gonna come in from behind, and he starts giving his
yeah.
speech. And my quote from the speech is, "You're already dead, but what we do in life echoes in eternity." So I talked about already with the end, like I like the whole afterlife theme. So I'm not gonna say it again, but it just went with that theme, and I just think it's a bar. And if I was getting ready to go into battle and someone said that to me, I'd be pretty fucking fired up. I'd be like, okay, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna die, but maybe I could do something tough here and become the legend of Germania or something. I'd be fired up.
No, that's a hard line. No, I 100% agree. Yo. Say that to me before anything, before a basketball game, for whatever, before we're about to
Facts.
hop on playing video games or something. Oh, it's just a hard ass line, bro.
Echoes in eternity. Tough.
Yeah, no, that's dope. No, that's tough. I like that one. That wasn't my quote, but
Mhm.
that's still a tough. Mine went to Gracchus.
Okay.
It's when he's talking. It's right after um what's it called? Commodus is like becomes emperor and everything, and they talk about how he's gonna bring back the Colosseum fights and everything. And he's like the beat of Rome. I'm sorry, the heartbeat of Rome is not in the marble of the Senate. It's in the sand of the Colosseum. He'll bring them death, and they will love him for it. I thought that was a hard.
Mm.
Thought that was
That
a
is
hard
pretty
line.
tough. Yeah, that is pretty tough. And it's
Yeah.
true too, right? Like the people they love it, right? They come in and they're there for this spectacle and it's a crazy concept, right? Like watching people just get murdered.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Oh yeah. No, I like remember like in the early like battles, they're chanting kill,
Yeah.
kill. I'm like that's wild, man.
Yeah, that's fucking insane. I mean, we
Like
go
that's
to like
wild,
a
man. Like
basketball game or a hockey game, football, whatever. We're seeing like sports, and then when someone gets hurt, everyone's down. Everyone's like, "Oh no!" Like we don't want to see anyone get hurt.
yeah,
They're
that's
in
what I'm
there
saying.
like kill, kill, kill. That's fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
The closest thing we have to that nowadays is hockey player fights. That's the
True.
closest, like when we get like completely like, yeah, like, people punt bloody faces, everyone's just cheering it. And then it never gets to a point like Duke is getting pummeled, everyone's cheering, and then it's like everyone's fine with that. That's the or I guess UFC is I guess
Yeah, I
is
was about
that,
to
but
say. I guess UFC, but the same thing. If someone like breaks their leg or like gets knocked out and they're down for a while, then everyone's like, "Oh shit, are they okay?" Like, right? We don't want to see people get hurt at this point. But
no.
back then, they were like just chanting for murder. Insane.
It's absolutely wild. But so our next award is our six man award, our aka our Nas Reed award. So Scott, who's your six man of the movie?
I gave mine to Juba. He's the black
Okay, yes,
slave.
go on.
Really, just because
Yeah,
he's Maximus. He is Maximus's six man. Like he's his right hand man.
yeah,
Like
hundred
when
percent.
they're in the first Colosseum fight, they're literally chained together. So they had to work together as a team. He patches up his wounds when he first gets captured. And he fires him up with that line that I shouted out earlier. You will see them again, but not yet. Like, and then he buries
Yeah,
the like. He's just every time he's on screen, he does something for Maximus, and he's just dope. He's just his right hand guy.
Yeah, no, that's a good one, man. I'm mad because that was initially my six man, and then I switched it up
Mm,
like last minute. So I'm mad at my. But I mean, I still like my six man, but I have no qualms with with you picking him because that's a good one. Because like you said, he literally is a six man.
yeah,
He's like right there. He's on his shoulder. He's like he's got his back from the beginning, man. Like even like when he first gets getting picked up and like he's getting turned into a slave, he's got his back from that moment. This guy doesn't even know him, and
exactly.
he's trying to
Yeah, he
give him
patches
tips
up
on how
his
to heal his
wounds, and
arm.
he's patching up his wounds. He's telling him about like what's going on, like because Maximus basically wakes up and he's like, "Where the hell am I? What's going on?" So Juba's like explaining to him, and he's nice to him. He's just the best guy, the best six man dude.
No, he's a real one. He's a real one. My six man went to Cicero, so
Mm,
his original boy before he met a new one. So like
true.
that was just his day one, and like I gave it to him just because like stayed loyal. Like after the man left and then came back as a slave and came through a gladiator. When he saw that he was still alive, he's like immediately what the first thing he wanted to do was just help him out. Like yo, like I'm loyal to you. Like how can we help you break out? And when his death happened, it shocked me, and I was like, yo, damn man, like. So I was like, I had to give it to him just for being a day one. You know, I had to show him some love for that because even the sister wanted to help be there, but like obviously she's in a different situation where she couldn't 100% like be. But he was like, "No, I
Mm,
don't even care." Like Maximus, that's my boy. Yo. So I was like, "Oh man, I gotta
yeah,
show some love to him
yeah.
for
No,
being loyal."
that's actually a great pick. I mean, we both went with the same idea, like Maximus's right hand dude,
Yeah,
and but you're right. He was basically well, it's the same thing. It's literally the one. They're both
yeah,
there helping him out, and he gets got for it, unfortunately. But you're right. As
yeah,
soon as he saw he was alive, he's like, "My boy Maximus is back. I'm here for him. What do I got to do? I'll go get the
yeah,
army. I'll do anything for you. I'm gonna break
yeah.
you out. I'm gonna find you." Great pick.
That being said, we got two more awards left. So before we get to our main event, we got the best scene. So Scott, what was your favorite scene in the movie?
My best scene was the first Colosseum fight, um,
Okay.
coupled, I guess, with the meeting with Commodus. It's all the same scene, I would say. But the action is great. Like this is when he rallies the troops, right? Like they're all over the place. He's like, "No, the only way we survive this is if we stick together." There's like the chariots coming through, and they knock them off the chariots. Like I said, that girl gets cut in half. Like
Oh
the
my gosh.
dude, the scene, like the action is insane. Maximus is just on full hero mode, like rallying the troops, killing people left, right, and center. It's fucking sick. And then, like I said, Commodus comes down and we get the reveal, the iconic speech, and it's great. It's great.
No, that's a really great scene. And like my favorite scene is a fight too. It's not that fight, but like it feels like it's. I mean, like, it could have been like a monologue that happened with outside of the fights, but like the fight scenes in this were just so intense and
Yeah.
just so like
Yeah.
spectacle that I was like, oh man, you gotta go show some love. And the one you picked was yeah, the girl getting cut in half was. I did not expect that
Dude,
in
that was
half. It's
fucking
crazy.
insane, man. Like everything else was like, we see people get stabbed or like an arrow go through them.
Yeah,
This one, like everything was like maybe here. That one was all the way up here. Like that was
yeah.
way head and shoulders above anything else in the movie. That was insane.
Yeah, no, it was wild. I like that scene. That was a good scene, and the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack over
Yeah,
top.
that too.
Just man.
True.
Yeah, but that's a good scene. But my best scene is the one-on-one fight with the lion guy with the tigers,
Mm,
like playing an assist in the fight. Like I mentioned it earlier. Like again, it's just it comes just the spectacle of it. It just would look so badass. I mentioned like the fact that it was supposed to be rhinos before is crazy to me because I couldn't even imagine. I feel like just digitally and all the like trying to do things practical would have been so much harder with a rhino, and
yeah.
like the risk is so much higher. Even though it sounds crazy to say the risk is so much higher when you're really dealing with tigers, but a rhino just also just seems absurd. Just the size of them and the strength.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Just based on size, like whatever you had the tiger chain to, you would have to like
Mhm.
triple that for a rhino, just because they're so much bigger and stronger. Because like putting a collar around a tiger and you're pretty confident that he's not going to break through that. A rhino, I don't know, man. He could maybe
Yeah, that's
break through that shit.
that's what I'm saying.
And then what?
That's all. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, we're gonna be delayed a couple days as we fight this
Russell
fucking
Crowe's
rhino.
dead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's insane. And another thing I saw that when I was reading, because I wanted to read up so much on this because I was like, this scene is so insane. Like, I need to know everything about this scene. Like, and I saw another thing too was the fact that they said obviously that the tigers were hard to work with in the sense of like, if they weren't fed, it was good because it was like, okay, now there's some aggression in them, so we can kind of get them to like sway at us and like run fast and stuff, which is kind of wild because you have to like
Yeah.
not feed them, but it's also kind of scary because like maybe they're trying to take a bite out of us or something. But then they also mentioned how like when they fed them, then they were kind of lazy. And Ridley was like, "Hey, you can't get caught because these tigers are tricky." It shows you just how smart like cats and like the whole feline thing is, because like they'd be fed and they'd be kind of chilling there, and that's how the one dude almost got caught, where it's like it was sitting there, was chilling. One dude like kind of got within the 15 meters, and the tiger jumped up and like swayed and like went at him, and everyone like the vets like shot it to tranquilize it so like the tiger wouldn't get him. But I'm like, bro, that's why you can't get lacking with these dudes. You think they're just chilling. You think they're chilling, but they're scheming.
Sneaky ass little tigers, man. That's crazy.
It's wild, bro. You guys. That's why I'm just that in my head now. Like when I rewatch this movie, I'm be like, man, these tigers, bro. This is wild. I wonder if we're gonna get tigers in the new one. I didn't see anything in the trailer.
I hope so. I would.
Maybe we'll get a rhino. Maybe we'll get a rhino.
Oh shit! Yeah, maybe we'll get a rhino. Good point. Yeah, maybe. Denzel riding a rhino into the Colosseum. That'd be fucking hard.
That would be hard. All right. So now, last but not least, we have our MVP. So Scott, who is your MVP of Gladiator?
My MVP is Ridley Scott. It's all like this movie is all about the action. There's 6 big action set pieces, which is freaking crazy. I feel like most action movies you'll get 2, maybe 3, like major set pieces. This has 6. We have 4 gladiator fights, 2 in the Colosseum and 2 in Africa. And then there's the big battle in Germania at the start, and there's the big fight in the slave camp. And then there's also little fights in it, like when Maximus escapes his execution. And like there's so much action in this movie, and it's nonstop. It all hits. And to me, that's the responsibility of the director, like putting that all together, placing everything, camera angles, all this stuff. So that's why he's my MVP.
That's a great pick. I was struggling with this one too, because it becomes that thing of like there's great performances here, but like obviously Ridley like structured this, and like you said, he directed it, and it was just visually was just so stimulating, and just it was such a spectacle to watch. So like that's a great pick. And I originally had him. Whenever it comes to MVP, unless it's like very obvious, sometimes you'll have like 2 things you're kind of going back and forth with each other. You do like you weigh your options against each other, and I'm like, no, I didn't go with Ridley in the end, but that's a great pick.
Yeah,
so
no, I feel you 100%, unless it's something that's like totally obvious. Because in this one, I almost gave it to Maximus, the character, because this guy, like we've been talking about, he is the MVP of the Roman army. Like he has it all. He does absolutely everything. So, but yeah, I gave it to Ridley. So I feel you. You might have a couple. So who was yours?
Mine, I gave it to Joaquin Phoenix. So it's not Commodus. I'm giving it to I'm giving it to Joaquin Phoenix. And I just thought, like, as much as he was like a bitch, like he played that bitch role well. It's like that kind of like, it's not like a Loki kind of villain. Like, I mean, when I say Loki, I mean like the actual villain Loki from Avengers. I don't mean like low key, like
yeah.
It sounded like that the way I said it, but yeah, on the down low. But like I feel like he played that role really well. And like I think that scene with his dad, like we were talking about it earlier, I think that was such like a powerful scene. Like him, the emotion that was like just coming off of him, and like the tears and everything. I thought that was like a really powerful scene. We also talked about the monologue that he had with his sister when the son was there, and he was talking about like he was telling the kid the story. but like obviously it was like him like talking about like, oh, like I know you're trying to turn on me, and like if you don't tell me, something's gonna happen to you. And like, and I gotta give an honorary mention to Coney Nelson, like the way she was responding to it, like her just being in tears as like he's telling the story. Like it was just like a good dynamic between the both of them. But like I pile that with also the scene with his father and stuff, and I just thought those were like really like memorable scenes for me. So I was like, I gotta give him my MVP for that.
Yeah, no, it's a really good pick. You're right. Like those two scenes specifically, like we talked about the one with his dad. That one, you're right, very powerful. I thought I really enjoyed that as well, and his performance in that scene. And then you're right, we kind of passed over it when we went over talked about the movie, but when he was basically threatening his sister by talking to her son and telling that story, like it was a really ominous scene. Like it was clear to us like what he was doing, but like putting yourself in that moment, like with a child right next to him, thinking about like just adding that to the dynamic. And you're right, he had more moments. Now that I think about it, he had more moments than I realized of him actually kind of having some toughness and having some juice in his character. But yeah, those two scenes specifically were really good, and he was great in it, and young, so great pick.
Yeah, and that was the thing too. You said we passed over it, but like I knew I was gonna mention it because he's my MVP, true. So that's why we passed over it. I just let it go by. I'm like, this is perfect. We're not talking about it, so I can talk about it for my MVP.
Yeah, that was a good scene. Both of those scenes, you're right. I feel like those are maybe the two best acted scenes in the movie, and he's the one acting in them. So to give him the MVP is a good point. So I guess like we gave the MVP to two different things that were really good parts of the movie. So I mean, it's just you got to pick one, and unfortunately, we didn't have the same one. Still no certifieds, man. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, no, we haven't had certified in a while, man. Yeah, it is kind of crazy. That's how you know this shit's real, bro. We're not scripted. Like we're not model. Like we don't know what the other person's gonna pick, and then that's why we get so hyped when it happens, because it's like, yo, what? We're on the same.
My mouse is hovering over the button, bro. I can't click it. I want to click it so bad. We can't.
Oh, man. There's dust on the button, guy. If y'all don't know, we don't do this digitally. It's a physical button, and there's dust on it. Hasn't been touched in weeks.
Next time we get it certified, I'm gonna. I gotta blow the dust off before we can click the button. That's funny. Well, yeah. Unless you got anything else.
No, that's it. I don't got anything else.
All right. Well, that's gonna do it. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Again, 100 subscribers on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on YouTube, if you're subscribed, thank you very much. Be sure to follow us on Apple Music, Spotify, or not Apple Music, Apple Podcasts.
No, we got an album coming out. Yeah, we got Apple Music. We're dropping this Friday. The film.
It's gonna be. You know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be Pirates of the Caribbean music again, but sped up one more time. It's the Film Room Podcast featuring Hans Zimmer. That's what it's gonna be. But yeah, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at the Film Room Pod. Leave a review if you feel we were great or horrible. Leave us a review and we'd really appreciate it. Other than that, we will see you next week. Be tuned for the sequel, Gladiator 2. I'm excited for that. We're gonna have an episode on that coming in a couple weeks. And we will see you next week with one more before Gladiator 2, and I will send it over to Dion to close it.
And remember, if you are listening, remember that the heart of content is not on your screen. It's in your headphones. We will bring you podcasts every Wednesday, and you will love us for it.
Oh, I tried to get it out at the same time.